Welcome to the Curious Hearts Collective podcast, here to help you align to life in joyful, creative, and inspiring ways with your host, Vanessa Trufin.
Welcome to the first ever recording of the Curious Hearts Collective podcast. I am your host, Vanessa. The Curious Hearts Collective is where heart-led creatives, intuitive leaders, and explorers of the world come together to play. Here's where we reimagine what's possible, not just for ourselves, but for the world as well. Here, curiosity is welcomed. Unity is advocated for, and here we understand that our diversity really is where our superpowers stem from. Our diversity is a gift, and one meant to be explored. Here, together, we gain the creative clarity needed to live life authentically and to live it full of joy. I'm really excited to get to explore this space with you and get to sit in curiosity, in a deeper understanding of who we are as individuals, how we've been shaped and molded to become who we are, what our talents are, where our superpowers lie, and find ways to joyfully realign our lives into one that we actually really love living. A little bit about myself, if you have no idea who I am, I'm Vanessa. I am the creator of the Curious Hearts Collective podcast, and this is my first solo podcast recording. And I'm really excited to be here. I feel like I've done so much to help prepare me for this moment, and yet it's still one that took me a while to create. Sometimes, and it's not a familiar feeling for me, but sometimes I doubt myself a lot, enough to where the self-doubt can sometimes win. I say this as somebody who has been in leadership roles since you could run for class president in elementary school. If there was a position of leadership and opportunity for power or growth and expansion, my hand was the first one to go up in the air. And that continued through high school. It continued through college. I'll talk about all of the fun leadership positions I've had in depth in another episode, but man, I was the leadership learning community mentor as a senior. I worked with freshmen, helping them identify what their leadership powers were. And this was in college at NAU. And I held leadership positions in my sorority because if I had the opportunity to help our young ladies grow and thrive and succeed, hell yeah, I was going to be part of it. And in high school, I remember marching on the field with my piccolo in hand in my cheer uniform because don't you dare make me choose one. I loved music and dancing and being involved, and was also student body vice president, also in high school. So I've had some very interesting, unique, incredible opportunities in leadership. And when you grow to be an adult, that looks like so much. Success is defined by the experiences we've had, by our parents, by the teachers and mentors we've encountered, and by our own unique definition of success. And we build a life around that version, and we work hard towards that version. And I don't know about you, but I don't think I paused to reevaluate my version of success enough. And I reached a moment in my life where I realized a shift was needed. And in some cases, it can be seen as, well, was that too late? Did I realize this change was needed too late? Was it right on time? And there's so much that we can go into to help us understand and get curious about ourselves and where we are in our alignment, what our own version of success means and stuff. But this particular moment for me, I found myself in the living room. I had just moved into this brand new house with my husband, Dennis, at the time, and it was everything we had been working so hard for years. And my business was doing well. He had just gotten his dream car. We were moving into this gorgeous house, living in it, actually. And I remember looking around and thinking to myself, oh man, I'm not happy. I had everything that I had been working so hard for, and I wasn't happy. And that was really frustrating because I was like, okay, something needs to happen because I'm really confused right now. And it was like a scene from a movie how the second I looked at Dennis and I said, I need a shift in my life, my phone rang. Seriously, like a scene from a movie where you just make this bold proclamation and declaration that something needs to happen, and then bam, the phone rings, the perfect person walks through the door, the clouds part, the heavens align, you know what I mean. So my mother-in-law calls me and tells me that there's this leadership program that she's been dying to get us through that's starting in 2 days. And for months and years, we always had some kind of excuse as to why I couldn't go or why Dennis couldn't go or why we couldn't go through this program together. And I responded with, send me the link, I'm in. I'll make it work. I'll make it happen. And I'm so grateful that I did. I'm so grateful that in that moment, I had the ability to connect with myself and realize something's wrong. Something needs to happen. I'm confused. And I'm going to say I judged myself a little bit for it, because how could I not be happy if I had everything that I had been working so hard to get? Anyone else feel like that? So that moment is what led to years and years of realizing, ooh, I don't know about this. I know that in the past, it was a direct reflection of who I am, of my values, of what success meant, of my interests. And suddenly it felt like I was taking every single part of my life and putting it under a microscope and realizing, like, trying to learn everything that I could from it. Why did I choose this? Would I choose it again? Does it make me happy? Am I even passionate about it? Do I enjoy this? Am I doing this for me? Am I doing this for others? Oh my God, the list of questions can go on. And I know I'm not alone in that. Call it second guessing, call it reevaluating, call it realigning. Actually, I think there's a difference there. We'll discuss that later. Anyway, this shift was needed, and it was like my creative mind was reborn. Suddenly, all the things that I used to just accept, that were just part of my life, that just were, I then started pausing and reflecting and being curious and trying to understand what it was that was leading the continual existence of this in my life. Damn, you guys. One of my favorite stories to tell that really helps land the opportunity for aligning to your authentic self is the story Happy Feet. I don't know if you've ever seen this movie or not, but let me share with you the scene that I'm thinking about. In this movie, we look at penguins. And in this particular penguin society, penguins sing to each other and then they attract their mate. And they also sing and therefore ensure their safety in the tribe, right? So we're looking at Mumble, and we see him hatch from an egg. And about 10 seconds after he is born, he starts dancing. And his dad's like, what you doing there, bud? He's like, I'm happy, Dad. Like, I'm dancing. And he's like, what are you doing with your feet? And he's like, they're happy too. And his dad looks down at him and he says, well, that just ain't penguin. And within 20 seconds of Mumble being born, he's already being told that who he is ain't penguin. I am first generation Latina, and I remember hearing this phrase from so many people in the Latin community. ¿Qué va a decir la gente? ¿Qué va a decir la gente? Which translates to, what are people going to say? What are people going to think? And somehow, through hearing this phrase over and over again, your entire childhood, and probably through high school as well, even into your adult life, can you imagine how much influence and impact a phrase like that just ain't penguin, ¿qué va a decir la gente, can influence and impact who you decide to grow up to be, who you choose to be every single day moving forward. And maybe you didn't hear, what are people going to say? Maybe you heard, you're too emotional. Maybe you heard, you need to be quiet. Maybe you heard, you're way too dramatic, you need to stop. You're too sensitive, calm down. You're too loud, you need to fit in. You're never going to make money with that. What are people going to think? You'll be kicked out of the house. You'll be forgotten about. Maybe it sounds like something completely different or something very close to those lines. But really think about the kind of impact hearing that consistently can have on a person. The things you deny yourself, the things you tell yourself, I can't do. The dreams that you just left alone on a shelf to get dusty and die. Maybe that wasn't you. Maybe you persevered and pushed through it. I know for a really long time, that was me. That was my story. I would listen to the naysayers and think, nah, not me. I want to do it. And if I want it badly enough, and if I'm passionate enough about it, I'm going to do it. Whew. And I think somewhere along the lines, I just forgot that there's a lot of courage and bravery within me. I think the fear and the exhaustion and the burnout got to be too much. But through the Curious Hearts Collective, we walk down a pathway together to understand one another again, to understand ourselves, to look within us, to reconnect to the parts of us that have always been there, just waiting to come out and play, to heal the parts of us that still continue to show up. Because sometimes we know that our choices and our actions can come from a place of hurt instead of a place of total alignment within ourselves. The Curious Hearts Collective, I want you to be safe, to feel safe being yourself. Because above all, isn't that such a beautiful gift? The ability to feel safe in a community, in a home, in a family, in a friendship, to feel safe within yourself, knowing that you see yourself, that you accept yourself, and that you love yourself exactly as you are. Knowing that self-love can look like way more beyond bubble baths and face masks. It's choosing courage and bravery in the moments where we're terrified. It's choosing to listen to our inner wisdom, knowing what that sounds like, knowing that we're acting in alignment to our values, not to who we've been told that we have to be. The Curious Hearts Collective, I want you to be here and remember that you're worthy, period. Just for being you, just for existing. You don't ever have to earn love. You don't ever have to earn your place in life. There's a lot that we're living through right now, especially as I'm recording this podcast from California. And there's a lot of division and hate and misunderstanding happening in the world. There are so many people misaligned with the values of this country, misaligned with their own values. And this is a place where I want you to come and remember who you are, to give the space to be curious and knowing that the curiosity will lead to clarity. That being curious about who you are and why, and being daring and bold enough to heal the parts of you that continuously show up and hurt us. I want you to reclaim that power, to reclaim the innocent you that lies deep within the kid who just wants to come out and play, who wants to be curious, who wants their opportunity at being creative, whatever that may look like. I want to build a community where we are united in the vision that we can create love and peace and acceptance, create a world where we accept and love and treasure diversity and work hard to protect it as well. I feel like a world like that deserves to be led by authentic leaders, people who know who they are, people who understand the power in kindness, in a smile, in being honest, open, authentic, even if you don't align. So thank you so much for listening to the first podcast recording of the Curious Hearts Collective. I'm looking forward to diving deeper with you into the deep understanding of who we are, why we are, healing together, exploring together, getting to listen to other people who are living their authentic life, who are heart-led creatives, who are willing to come here and share generously with us their curiosities and their way of seeing the world, knowing that it might inspire somebody to live a life more authentically aligned to who they are. See you next time. Stay curious.
Thank you for listening to the Curious Hearts Collective podcast with your host, Vanessa Trufin. Don't forget to check out any of the resources mentioned in today's episode in the show notes down below.